Hi, welcome to the Good Enough Homestead. Today we are going to take you just through an entire set of our morning chores. So first of all, I should have started this in the beginning, but we have to fill up 2 bottles for Maid Marian so she can eat. That's our little bottle baby. If I haven't cleaned the milking bucket from the day before, I have to do that. So here's that part and the lid. And then I always get a pail of soapy water, and it's warm, almost hot, but not quite hot, just kind of warm. And then one of our clean washcloths that we use for the goats to clean the teats goes into the pail. I actually hang up our tubes here to dry from the night before. So grab those and the milking machine. And I believe that's it for all the things we need to grab to go outside. So I will take you out again here with a minute. Okay, next thing you need to know is how to connect the milker. So you'll notice it's got a 1 and a 2 here. And then on top of the bucket, we've got a 2 and a 3. Our hoses used to be labeled, but we had to replace the tubing. So it's no longer labeled, but it would actually be a lot easier to just put the numbers on again. So otherwise I have to use my brain early in the morning. So this tube that's connected to 2, it just connects to the other 2. That part's easy. Okay. And now the 1 and the 3 have to be connected. So 1's already connected. Actually, the whole thing's easy. I lied to you. This just goes to number 3. I don't know. Oh, I guess if I had unconnected that. Disconnected. Anyway. So the number 3 hose goes from the bucket to the actual place where the milk is going to come out of the teeth. So the number 3 hose goes from the bucket to where the milk comes out of the hose, which is at the back end here. This part right here is just the airflow. So it connects to the actual machine at the number 1. Okay, that's all the hose stuff for now. Okay, this last part is not always necessary, but right now we have kittens, so I have little towels for them in a dog crate so that they're comfortable, and our towels need to be changed today. At first I had to change them like twice a day, but now it's only once every few days. So towels for the kittens. So then I put everything in this IKEA bag, except the pail and the bottles, and we head out to the goats. Okay, for this next part, we just come into the milking area. I set down the IKEA bag, the bottles, and the milk pail. And over here, I've got 3 sets of food. This one is sunflower seeds. This one in the middle is grain for the goats. And this last one is usually alfalfa, but I accidentally bought beets last time. So this is just kind of the mixture that we use for their for the milking. So we use this really technical Walmart 97-cent measuring cup. And I do for our big Alpine about 2.5 grain, just a tiny bit of sunflower seeds, and maybe like 1/2 to 3/4 of one of these cups of beets. So Danny is our Alpine, and she is very pushy. So I won't keep these lids off, or she will get into them and it's hard to get her out. Just put those off. I just took those off to show you, but we are gonna keep those closed and go get Danny. Go get the goats. We just have this carabiner hooked here because the goats otherwise can wiggle this little part out. And then the goats, Mary is usually really good about not coming out. This little one's Mary, but today she thinks she's coming out. So just gotta grab her collar, bring her back in. Marty hates all people, so she's just super skittish. We put Mary back in and grab a bucket, which here's Mary coming out. Whenever Mary does this, I just kind of gently, but firmly push her head back in because she has to wait. And then I don't carabine this yet because we're gonna give the babies some food so they stop crying at us. So I grabbed a bucket, got Mary back in. Danny's up on the stand, waiting patiently, of course. Hello, Danny. And then this part's a little bit funny because sometimes you can't get this as easily as I'd like to, but today I did. You just stick the bucket on this hook and put it here, and then we'll fill it with food. We're not gonna fill it with food yet. We gotta feed the babies first so that they don't cry the whole time. And Danny will come down and try to eat this, so I'm gonna quickly grab a cup of grain and put that lid back on. Actually, she proved me wrong and did not come to eat it. Okay, go back here. And we also are gonna feed Marty here in a second. Marty's a very slow eater, so she eats while I'm milking both of the other goats. And I get her a cup of grain. I can just put over the side here. So a cup of grain for Marty, put it over the side. And then of course I didn't put the lid back on, so there's Danny. So we're gonna get Danny 2.5 cups of the grain. If we can get her head out of the way. Okay, so a little bit of that, just a little bit of seeds. Sunflower seeds are high in fat, so you actually can't have the goats have too much of those. And I just put about this much of this in there. And we've noticed that actually just slows them down on their eating. Then last, we're just gonna bring this piece over to buckle her head in, which I'm trying to do one-handed. Not bad. And it locks here, and it locks here. And then there she is. Okay, the thing about Danny is she's a really fast eater. So I take my bucket with the sudsy water, squeeze it out. I always hold their back leg, because sometimes they kick, and then undo what I've just done cleaning off the udder teat. So I just wash off here. I always look at the towel to see how much is on there. If there's not very much, then I'm, feeling pretty good. But if I notice there's more than usual, I really try to take a look, because usually that means they've sat in something. And then I have this tote sitting here, and in the tote I have just some goat supplies, but one of those is a roll of paper towels. I grab the roll of paper towels and dry the teats. Okay, looking good, nothing on it. And then the last thing I do before starting to milk is test the milk, and what we're looking for is lumps or blood in the milk. So you can bring any little bucket. She doesn't stamp a lot, so this is easy. And also gets her started on her milk let down. So you probably won't be able to see this, but you can see her milk looks good, or I can see. And I just kind of throw it over the side. Okay, and now we are ready to hook her up for the milk. The nice thing is, if the milk machine isn't working for some reason, the Alpines are super easy to milk. She's way easier than the Nigerian dwarfs. So, this part I should show you. This part, hopefully you can see. Stitch, will you run around and see if they can see that? This little red part here, I don't put it much past this part. So you tack in like the 2 o'clock position on here. And then there's also a little button right here that you depress, and that makes these little inside parts do this. And that way it imitates a little goat suck. So I hold her leg again. Okay, I actually don't have to keep holding her leg because she's really good about not stamping. And I hook her up. Funny thing about hers, and this is okay, is, well, I say she's good at not stamping. It doesn't always go up all the way on her teats right away. So it's just kind of holding on here. But then once she drains a little bit, it'll go up a little more. And so to get some milk let down, the baby goats, they actually do it way harder than this, and I never feel comfortable doing that. They push here on the bag, and that stimulates the milk let down for the goats. So since she's not letting down right away, I'm just kind of getting that going. There we go, stamp it again. So I just always am kind of ready to catch a leg and gently pull it back down. All right, so our milk production is started. That's good, or let down, I should say. And then these clips are important. If they're pushed together, they're gonna stop the air from pulling on that tube. So, yeah, looking good here. Oopsie. So again, once she's put down some milk a little bit, I just push this up and it'll kind of grab on a little bit higher up. Okay, so at this point I just wait. I'm just here to catch a hoof if she decides she wants to stamp around a lot. And also to make sure nothing goes wrong. Just kind of overseeing. If I leave this area, I'll come back to those off and, you know, all kinds of stuff. Danny's a very quick eater. Once she's done, she just wants to be off the milk stand. So the other thing that's helpful with both Danny and Mary, if they start getting really stampy, is I just kind of lay my hand on the back here. It usually calms them down a little bit. If Anastasia's here, she will talk to them and stuff too to calm them down. Yeah. Oh, you are here. Yes, she is. I'm just going to check and see if I need to push up that tube, you know. So I did need to push it up. It was kind of hanging down a little bit, looked like it was sagging, and I just kind of lifted up and it resuctions on a little bit higher. Okay, she's almost out of food now, so she's going to start getting pretty stampy. So I'm just going to kind of try to make her feel better and hope that I get her a little bit longer. Luckily, she milks pretty quickly as well, so she'll probably be done here in a minute. And she's done. So then I just clamp off the hoses by pressing on those clips.
She's just got
Wait. She just what?
oh, she's just got those little like screws that she likes to lick off.
You can do that in a minute, but not yet. I gotta wipe her off. So I take these off. You have to kind of break the suction of the teat by just kind of pushing in where the teat is so that it allows air in there, because otherwise it'll yank. And then I turn this button off. And I just set these on top of the milk pail so they don't get dirty. Don't get it up yet. Then go back to our soap and water. I need to eventually get teat cups and peroxide. Stay shh. But right now I just do this again at the end. Hold the leg. All right, now you can take that off. And there she goes. Oh, but I made a rookie mistake and left the lids open, so she went into the food.
Yeah, I tried to do that.
Now that Danny is out, we are actually going to go ahead and fill Mary's bucket so I don't have to deal with her head. So where you're gonna get, for Mary, I don't do any of the extra because she actually does worse if I give her the sunflower seeds or the beets. She does fine if I give her the alfalfa, but I'm out of alfalfa. So 2.5 of these cups and then nothing else. All right, then we're gonna close all the feed buckets to make sure that Mary doesn't get into those. And we're gonna go get Mary. One of the funny things that's important to remember now is to unclamp these. I don't know how many times I try to put this on clamped and obviously nothing happens. So I put this back on into about the 1 o'clock position. Press the button. And then for her, you have to hold the leg while you're putting these on. So I kind of end up putting them on with one hand. So hopefully you can see this. So it's like I hold it with one hand. And then once I get that on, I hold the same hand that's holding the leg. I also hold the tube with. And you can actually hear the bucket kind of go boom when it's got the suction. Other thing is, can they see the tote on that? Do you know? I have this tote right here. I don't know if you can see it, but I actually put the milk button on that, or the milk bucket on the tote, which allows it to be downhill just a little bit. So that the milk has an easier time flowing into it. Mary is notorious for taking a long time to let down, so I'll be doing a lot more of that little udder bumping here. All while holding the leg. I pretty much never let her leg go while I'm milking her because she's very stampy. And I'm not pressing down on it or anything. I'm just here holding it lightly in case she does stamp, and then I can put it down. Okay, so her milk just now started coming out. If things are going well with Mary, I will sweep that suction to about the 2 o'clock position. But if she seems like she's uncomfortable at all, I just take it right back to the 1 o'clock position. I think I use very low suction, but it works for my goats and for me. I am very nervous about using too much suction, so I don't want to hurt them. So I use very low suction. The funniest part of all of this is I told you that Mary's really difficult and she's looking like a dream today. I think she knows she's on camera, so maybe we'll just put camera on her all the time because she's never this good. Funny thing about Mary is her left teat, for some reason, doesn't drain nearly as fast as her right teat. So her right is very small right now, and her left still has a lot to go. Sometimes at this point, she's just done with me. She wants me to be done, and then I'll hand milk the rest on the left side. We'll see how she does. Woo, here we go. And she's done. So, we're good. I was closing off this side so I could continue just milking on the other side, but she was done. So I turn off the milking machine. I try not to stress her out with it because I would like her to get better, and honestly that's the best she's ever been, so that was good. Okay. I'm gonna put this back in here in the IKEA bag in case you can't see that. So it actually doesn't look too bad, just a little bit bigger on the left, and I'm just a little bit nervous about mastitis, so I'm going to go ahead and milk that. And with Mary, like I said, she's very stampy. She's not going to enjoy this, so I kind of put her leg on my lap. If she gets stampy, which she is. So I hold her up either in the air or on my lap. So I just kind of put my shoulder here. It makes her more comfortable. And attempt to milk, which I'm not going to do today. She's literally the worst. Other thing she likes is my body draped over hers. I don't know why. So if I can't do it the other way, then I do it this way. I don't need to do too much. It's just a little bit different, and I actually think that's already good. So now I'm just gonna take this, clean off the milk that is on here. We got a lot of flies right now. And clean off her udder. I grab the leg again, clean this off. Now we unhook the thing, and she's free. And now she doesn't want to go. So make sure all the lids are on the food, and here we go. Okay, we're on the last stage with the goats, so we put the stuff back in the IKEA bag. We got my pail here, which I'm actually just gonna, I just kind of fling the contents. Sometimes if I've had a really messy day, oh really? Sometimes if I've had a really messy day, I will actually pour it onto the milk stand. But today nobody was super messy. So just going to dump it over the side. Okay, and then anything that's dirty I can just put in here. And I made Marion's bottles. And I do lock this gate, because if I don't lock this gate, they all try to come in here hoping to catch me unawares on my food bucket. So now we let all the babies go. There's only 2 left. So when I open this door, I have this very fancy door stopper, which is that chair. I just put the chair there. Danny's waiting on Sweetie. Ooh. So this gate is ridiculous. This gate is a little hard. I have to put my foot under it and lift up, and then I can move that. Now Danny's gonna try to come in and eat anything left over in the bucket, which today is nothing. Oops, sorry, I always grab the bucket. So you see there's Sweet Pea eating from Danny. And here is my little bottle baby. Come on, bottle baby. Marion, who is just so excited to eat. So I just put it down and she goes to work. She quickly gets milk all over her first. She's actually weaning, so she's down to just these bottles in the morning. And then as of today, we're gonna start giving her just 1 bottle at night. I could go to 0 bottles at night, but I worry about her because, you know, she's my baby. So we're just doing 1 bottle at night, kind of weaning her a little more slowly on the night feed. Done. She's super fast. So now she's done. I put this with my other dirty dishes that are going back in. And then it's time for the rest of the animals. Okay, so right now we have this really great door system for our chickens. And that's my fault. Hopefully maybe by the time you come, I'll have the door. But they start coming out. I actually don't wait, I just open this. It doesn't hurt them. It takes a little bit of doing. And then open that. And in here, Danny's coming in. Take Danny back out. They're not allowed to eat chicken feet. Ugh. Danny is like a huge pig. So he's constantly trying to get into everything. All right, so here's the feeder for the chickens. I moved it yesterday. I'm gonna move it back. So it's usually right here. Okay. So their food is right in here with them. And I usually have that same cup that I have out with the goats, that same measurement out here, but I was cleaning it. So right now I'm using these, but I use 5 of those cups in here. So these are a little bit smaller. And just kind of, they haven't actually been eating all their food. They've been grazing so much outside in the pasture. Grazing, I don't think that's the word for chickens, but you know what I mean. All right, chickens are super easy. They're my favorite because they're so easy. They're done. All right, now we move on to the ducks. The ducks have this pool, which literally got fresh water in it yesterday and already looks like this. We have newly put them in here. So we're gonna open this for the ducks. I'm gonna put some food over there for them. Before we put that over there for the ducks, I need to grab their food, which is actually over by the chick container. So we'll just do the chicks first on the way to the ducks. So here is the chick and duck food. It's actually like a mixed poultry feed. And I just take a scoop or two of this. If the goats are around, I immediately put that lid on because they will all try to eat it, but they're not. This thing is loose, so we've got this board behind it, so which has nails on it, so be careful. And we just have this little pan here. Because it's gross, I emptied it out. It's fine right now. Give that to the chicks. Oh, here comes Danny. She hears the food. We gotta quickly close that. Woohoo! So they will actually, they're like a little bit escapey. So they'll try to jump out. So I usually close their little board between. We gave them the dog water because it's just holds so much more water. Right now I don't have to fill it. It's got enough for until tonight. So I'm gonna leave that for now. Then when I close this, put in this little wood piece again, or it won't be tight enough. All right, here's the trick. You gotta get the duck food into their feeder without letting Danny get it. She's gone for the moment. See how much I can get done before she comes back over here. None, she's already back. All right. She's such a hog. So a lot of times they get this thing disgusting. I'm just kind of emptying that out, waiting for a second. Put her through, close the gate, and lock it. Done. All right, with the ducks, I just kind of fill this whole red thing. So I open it up and fill the whole bottom. So lucky for me, Danny's hoping that there's still food over there, and she's running over there, which leads all the other goats over. Never really worry about Marty too much because she's not very pushy. But these two and Sweet Pea are pretty pushy. Come on, Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea, come on, girl. Come on. Apparently she's not like a dog and I can't get her to come by calling her. Go figure. All right, so I'm just gonna grab her and take her over. Come on, girl. And this is because with the ducks right now, I don't have a better place to put their food where the goats won't get it. So I've been locking them in this pasture, which is huge. They've got plenty of room. Just have to make sure to put some water over there. And then that way, the ducks have free reign of their food besides the chickens who will probably try to steal their food. So I'm gonna put the food right here in this corner next to the pool and let the ducks out. She will also eat their food, but there. So I'm actually gonna take the chicken tote, one that was the door, and put it in front of this door. Okay, next step. Watering the animals. So I've got 3 buckets of water here. So you can see Sweet Pea got right back out of there. So I'm gonna have to get her back on the other side. She usually just stays with her mom, but her mom's not sure why I put her on the other side right now. I don't think that'll usually be a problem. To do the water, you just have this guy in the down position. So the guy on the right, this guy always stays in the down position. He waters the greenhouse. This guy has to be put in the down position. Now we just always hang this here. I'm gonna put it over the top of the fence. Lock the gate. And fill the water. The water is usually pretty hot from the day before. So I just let it come out a little bit first. Our bowls are just colored in the bottom. Okay, now we're gonna take the water buckets over. Usually I take 2 at a time, but since we're showing you, Marty is not happy with me because she doesn't want to come next to me, but she also wants to be on the other side with the goats. Because it's so hot, I've been checking the water in the afternoon. I actually like to put it under this tree because it's shady, so hopefully the water will stay cooler a little longer. And the chickens drink from the same buckets as the goats, which is fine. All right. Question of the day is how to get Marty in. What I'm gonna do is once Mary's done trying to get out, I'll let Marty in this way when the goats have kind of lost interest in coming back on this side. Marion, she can get in and out as she wants to. So with Marty, you really kind of have to be far back. So I opened the gate for her. She's thinking about it. You gotta make sure the rest don't get out. This is what happens when you don't have your permanent duck setup done yet. You end up chasing goats. And there she goes. Beautiful. Oop, that sweet pea's trying to come back. So we'll quickly close that. And done. So that's actually all we need to do on goats, chicks, ducks, chickens. And now we move on to the barn cats. So after all that, I forgot to get the milking stuff. Don't forget to bring this in. It's gotta go in the fridge. So put the bottles in the bag, put the trash in my trash bag, and bring it in. Oh, and there's one more thing I should say about the goats, which is that little Marion is an escape artist. So there's a certain way I close like this so that she can't get out. Sometimes I don't even do it right. So there she is. She's not sure if she's goat or human. You've already seen me do this chain a million times, and I still do the chain. Again, hold close with my foot if I only have one hand. And I put the chain through. And you can see that that's loose. So I also have a lock down here that helps prevent her from wriggling through. It's just a carabiner. So I put that on these two. And then third, I have this black pole. And right now you can see this gap. She can wriggle through there. She's so small. So I weave this thing through, push the gate close a little more. And in the middle of these two things, the other pole and I push down. And then she usually can't get out of that. Okay, last animal stop of the morning is the barn cats. This is the food for the adult barn cats, but I only feed them at night because otherwise the chickens come and eat it through the day. I just set this bag here, honestly, while I'm waiting. I try not to take too long in here so that the milk doesn't go bad. This door is kind of funky, so you have to make sure it's all the way closed. See, that didn't close by turning the handle. There we go. And then there's light here. And here's Mama. Every once in a while she hisses at me, but she's never mean. She just, I don't know. It's a lovely greeting. So today I'm gonna change the towels. I don't have to do that very often now because they're pooping in the litter box. But they still like to sleep in here sometimes. So I'm gonna go ahead and change these out. And all I do for that is have a towel that I folded there and here. And then that way they've got a little comfy bed. These guys I just bring and put in a dirty pile for a stack because there's so many using the litter box right now. I clean this every day. I have these Meyer bags and I put the poop in So I will make sure there's plenty of those. Okay, once that disgusting chore is done, check the food and water, which are both low. Food's just sitting here by the fireplace. It's been getting really hot during the day, so I have this little fan propped up kind of on where they typically lay, so they're not too hot. Probably put up some curtains for them. And then I took the water over to where I got the water for the chickens and the goats and fill that up. Okay, so we'll just finish filling this up. And then after that, we're gonna turn this hose off because it does leak. So, let's fill her up. I need to probably get a new, bigger water and out of the babies are drinking out of there as well. Not helpful on a hill. Okay, put it back on here. The one on the right goes in the up position. Let's take this back. So it's funny. They come back and they're all playing, but I didn't get it. Oh, there, a little bit. So these guys eat as well now. So we're typically changing both of those twice a day. Okay, we're done. So just make sure to shut the middle door. I usually turn off the light actually because the daylight's enough in the windows. And shut this door. And again, I always push on it to check it because sometimes it doesn't latch all the way. Grab our stuff and head in. Okay, so now we're just gonna clean this off. You're gonna pull the tubes off and just set them over here for a second. I strained mine twice. So this guy is pretty much always in the dishes. All right, so it just has this bottom piece that screws on. Whoops, whoa. This little piece that goes in. And this is, it's just like a big particle strainer. It's not doing the real straining before I pasteurize. And all I'm gonna do is grab one of these huge ball jars, put that in the top, get some lids, and pour it in. It actually works a lot better if you can just pour it right through the center. Otherwise it kind of stays in the top there, so I try to just pour it right in the center of this thing. This seems to be the most common amount. This is 2 quarts. Cap this and it goes in the garage refrigerator to be pasteurized. The next thing we're gonna do is just wash out the tubing, which for the most part is pretty simple. Every once in a while you wanna do a deeper clean of it. Just grab a little container, some dish soap, put in a little bit. The water you want to be not hot, but not cold, warm. They say that if it's hot water, you will get like these little, the milk will harden. So I usually put it on the spray so that I can mix it up a little. Still not quite as warm as I'd like it, so we're gonna wait a sec. All right, we're just gonna fill this most of the way up, and we're actually just gonna turn on the tubing so that it goes through and rinses all the milk out. So since I just get it off every once in a while, the seal, the ring will do this. I'm putting on the lid. Gotta hook those hoses back up. And again, the hose for number 2 just goes to the number 2. Okay. The number 1 hose is still plugged in from earlier. And number 3 is the one that has some leftover milk in the line. And now all we're gonna do is just turn this on. So put them in, don't forget to open these. Okay. Now you can turn it on as much as you want. Alright, so all the soap has gone through. And actually I'm going to take this now and rinse this whole thing a little bit. I'm keeping this connected, and then I'm going to put a second round of water in. I also rinse out the bucket. And now I put a round of cool, clean water in here. I've rinsed off all this just in case there's anything on the outside, just not all of it, just any kind of spots, since that doesn't actually have the milk in it. And I always do a visual check of the teat cups to see if anything is in there that needs to be scrubbed out. We have little scrub brushes that you can put in there. And then you gotta unhook it from here so that the water can come out, so it's not just sitting in there. I hate this part because the tubing gets weak there. So I just let the water drip out. And remember, it's only coming out of this hose. This hose is just an airline. So I just kind of set this guy up here. And the last thing on this goes in the sink obviously, is to plug it in. So we just leave it plugged in all the time into the wall, and it just needs to charge. So we just charge it. And as soon as this light turns green, it's charged. So we're dripping here. Usually I have to come back and use a paper towel and clean that up, or I can just throw a towel under it now to catch the drips. And that will be ready for tomorrow morning. Well, not quite. Gotta clean this bucket. Whoops. You don't really need to see this. I actually just hand wash this bucket. So hand wash the lid, top and bottom, hand wash the inside, and then turn them over to dry on a towel.